What is up, you guys? In today's video, I want to walk you through how to scale your custom furniture or woodworking business beyond your local area. Let's dive in. All right, welcome back to the channel. As always, I'm your host, Zach Vaught, and I'm so excited that you're choosing to spend some time with me today. If you don't know me, a quick backstory. I started my woodworking business in my garage in 2017. Was a pretty decent woodworker, but didn't know how to get customers, didn't know how to get sales, didn't know how to actually grow the business. And so after spending years of studying, really learning, eventually grew my woodworking business to over $75,000 per month, a team of employees, and sold that business profitably in 2024. And I'm here to help you grow your woodworking business. There's all kinds of channels you can check out that are going to, talk about tools, do tool reviews, talk about processes for woodworking, but not a lot of people are talking about the business side of woodworking. And that is what this channel is really for. So if you're trying to grow a woodworking business, whether it be custom furniture and big items or smaller items, I really believe that the principles that you're going to find on this channel are going to help you. So be sure to like and subscribe if you haven't yet. Now, with that, how do you scale your woodworking business beyond local? First thing I would say here, if you have small items, you should immediately do this with online platforms like Etsy. You can sell them on Etsy. You can also run ads to your website and sell directly off your website, but you got to have a good advertising and sales process, which is typically, not to be hateful or rude, but typically developing that process is over simple-minded folks like us's head, right? You have to have an incredibly thorough marketing and sales process for small items like cutting boards or birdhouses or whatever that small item might be, unless you just have an incredible product that you can market across the country and will be widespread accepted, and then you're shipping stuff out and crushing it. If you have large items, typically scaling beyond your local area is very difficult. And I'm going to dive into what you should do, what you shouldn't do, and my recommendations in this video. All right, woodworkers, I've got a challenge for you. It's called the 5K in 30-Day Challenge. Join the Woodworking Business Accelerator program, follow exactly what we teach you to do, implement the systems, the processes, the sales scripts, and if you close $5,000 in new custom furniture sales in your first 30 days, we're gonna give you your program fee back. That's right. You will have literally built a business growth system for free. So why would I do this? Well, because I would rather actually put my money where my mouth is and win only if you win than just asking you that you should just simply trust me. So if you're ready to build a business that funds your life and not just your hobby, this is your chance to build it without any risk. Check it out, link in the description below. With that, let's get back to the video. So I'm going to spend some time talking about those of you that are building custom furniture. I'm going to spend some time talking to those of you that are building larger items. Number one, I typically don't recommend you focusing on scaling outside of your local area for a while. When it comes to shipping big pieces, dining tables, bedroom sets, things like that, what a lot of people don't understand are all of the challenges that come with logistics. When you are marketing to your local area, when I say local area, I mean within 2 to 3 hours of where you are. So most everyone in the United States has 500,000 to 1 million people within a 3-hour radius or more of where they are. Okay, so you might be out in the middle of nowhere. When I say local, I'm not talking about your own little small town of 3,000 people. You can market to a 3-hour drive around you and you can sell. The beauty of that is that you can load it up in the back of your truck or a box truck and you can drive it and you can drop it off and you're done. And you're in control of that process the entire time. When you start shipping things across the country, what happens is that you are entrusting a third party to handle this product that you have poured your heart and your blood, sweat, and tears into for the last 50 hours. And they're going to be throwing that thing around with a forklift, jamming it into the back of trucks. It's going to get damaged. I mean, there's about a 65% chance that it doesn't, but there's about a 35% chance that the product that you built, that somebody across the country ordered, that they're excited to receive, is going to get damaged in some regard, okay? Now, there are ways around this, okay? There are companies like UShip that can ship larger ticket products for a relatively reasonable cost. However, when you start introducing shipping, you have to introduce an entirely different division inside of your business. And I can talk from experience from this. So I helped run a antler chandelier company for several years in my late 20s. And that antler chandelier company, they were not a local company. They focused on international and national relationships with vendors like Restoration Hardware, interior designers all over the country, and everything was getting shipped all the time. So every product that was built had to also have a custom crate built for it as well. And then we had to handle bills of lading, communicate with freight brokers on a daily basis. We had to make sure that they were picked up and we had to get logistics sent to customers. I say all that to say that it's not an impossibility, but it is an additional complexity inside of your business when it's not even necessary, right? So like if right now, if you're doing less than $100,000 a year inside of your custom furniture business, or I would even say less than $500,000 a year, you don't need to be worrying about expanding outside of your local market. You need to get deeper inside of your local market. You need to reach more customers. You need to market harder through different channels and get to that $1 million per year run rate. I really truly have a belief that if you're not doing at least $1 million a year inside of your custom furniture business, you shouldn't be focusing on nationwide shipping or anything like that. Now, if you're running smalls, have at it. It's easy to throw stuff in a box and ship it out, right? You can use typical carriers like FedEx or UPS or USPS, right? That's easy. But if you're shipping big items, it makes it really, really hard, okay? Also, one thing I didn't mention is when the freight company damages your product and it arrives at the customer's house, let's say in California and you're in Texas, the customer is going to say, hey, this is damage. What's going to happen is then you're going to have to file a claim with the freight company, and they're going to most likely say, sorry, you didn't adequately box this up. You did this wrong. You did that wrong. Well, if you had protected this better, we wouldn't have damaged it. When in reality, they're just slinging stuff around with forklifts, right? They would have damaged it regardless of how you had it, but they're not going to pay you for the damage, right? And then you got to rebuild the product and try to ship it again. I've seen horror stories from this, right? So I say all this just to say, be mindful, be careful, okay? Just to recap, build $1 million business locally first. It's possible, and you need a logistics division inside of your business. Now, if you've got a guy that's a baller that can pack it, can crate it, can handle the paperwork and get it out, and you can pay him at a rate that makes sense. You also, by the way, you have to bake in all of these palleting costs. Like you got to have a pallet, build up around it. You got to use MDF or plywood or whatever to crate it. It's just a mess, right? So it might cost you $200 in materials just to put this thing on a pallet and ship it. That doesn't include the shipping cost. And so a lot of times it doesn't make sense with custom furniture. Now, it can make sense if you have a really, really, really refined business. So from that standpoint, like let's say you're breaking down your products to where it can be assembled easily when the customer receives it, and you can flat pack this stuff and ship it across the US, you can crush with things like that. Like I think there's a brand right now that does beds. I think they're called Thuma. And their product basically has lap joints. There's no screws, nothing that a customer would need to do. And it all flat packs and ships via UPS, right? A product like that has widespread potential to absolutely crush. The only problem with that is that you kind of get away from the handmade nature or custom nature of the product. But that's what big businesses and big brands do. So if you're a custom guy, you're trying to build this stuff and build each product unique, that's going to be a lot harder for you. Again, not to say that's impossible. You can redesign things, you can change your joinery techniques, you can make it a possibility, but just know that there's a lot of challenges with that. When you could just focus on local, you can build it, you can go drop it off, set it in the middle of the room, get your check, and go on about your business. So that's my personal opinion. And so with that, hopefully this video was helpful for you. And so if it was, be sure to let me know in the comments below. Be sure to like and subscribe. Love and appreciate you guys, and I'll see you in the next video.